Remember when the neighborhood Victrolas used to play that?
And clap hands, here comes Charlie, stumbling, me and the boyfriend.
You gotta see me, Mama, every night, or you can't see me at all.
Those tunes make me think of a cheerleader back at Montclair High. I can't recollect his name.
Joe Scales. Some shit, eh?
Flaming Youth had really caught fire, except at our house.
At our house, there was Dad.
And he acted as though he thought our generation was running straight for the devil.
And a stripped-down Model T, suitably inscribed with "Chicken, here's your roost, 4 wheels, no brakes, the tin you love to touch."
Those old jalopies were just as good as our own car.
Remember riding with Dad in the Pierce Arrow? Someone would call out, "I see 12 kids!" Dad would bellow back, "This isn't much, you ought to see the ones I left at home." But one time someone shouted, "What are you doing in that old art?" Dad yelled back, "I'm out collecting animals, like the good Lord told me. All I need now is a jackass. Hop in."
The most embarrassing part is when we come to a toll booth and Dad played his favorite game. He guessed the nationality of the collector then. "Hey, do me Irishman come cheaper by the dozen?"
Irishman, is it? Sure, and it wasn't meant for a family like that to pay toll.
Sometimes it was a Dutch collector.
Oh, what a fine lot of healthy Dutchmen, right around the house.
Even out for a drive, Dad couldn't stop teaching. I mean, if we passed a factory, he'd tell us how they use a plumb line to keep the chimney straight.
Because he was in a hurry for all of us. All the projects, committees, studies. You were terrible as head of the purchasing committee.
The purchasing committee got wholesale rates from underwear to baseballs. And look at the savings on canned food when we ordered direct by the truckload.
What about the 96 jars of peanut butter?
Everybody likes a lot of peanut butter.
Not me. Not anymore.
The committees were a wonderful idea. They eliminated waste motions and made things easier for Mother.
You didn't talk that way back then. Back then, all you girls thought about were boys and dates.
Because a boy hardly dare call our house, that little cheerleader did everything but nail a quarantine sign to our door.
I remember Anne burning up. I'm living through what can only be described as hell on earth.
And Dad picked that particular time to step up the efficiency program.
He didn't exactly pick that time.
I didn't mean...
Sure, none of us knew. A lot of times it just felt like Dad was being extra impatient.
Like the time the lady psychologist came to give us those examinations.
We didn't know what those exams meant. We didn't know that they might mean Anne could graduate ahead of her class.
Dad's master plan. He was so anxious for Anne to get on through school, so she could be free to help Mother.
But didn't Anne go to a movie with a boy that afternoon?
She didn't know the exams meant anything. She didn't know Dad had been talking to the people at school about graduating early.
But she missed dinner completely, and most of the tests. Dad was wild.
He kept checking his watch every 3 minutes. If the lady psychologist hadn't been there, he would have been roaring like a lion.
You and I finished the test early. I guess so did some of the others. They must have gone upstairs.
Frank, the music, it isn't coming from down the street. It's one of our Victrolas upstairs.
The girls' bathroom?
The boys.
Of all the dumb...
Dad's mad enough as it is.
Boiling. We better switch them off.
Poor Dad.
Quiet! Turn those off! I said, quiet! Who's playing those?
I don't know.
Ed didn't come in?
Wie ist der Ball?
The boys'
Der Ball ist
bathroom.
rund. Ist der Ball rund? Ja, der Ball ist rund. Ist der Ball schwarz? Comment allez-vous? Der Ball ist schwarz. Quel est le nom de votre fille,
Turn them off and come
madame?
down.
Son nom
I
est Gaston.
said, turn
Bien,
them
quel est le nom
off!
de son père?
That lady psychologist teacher will think I told them to turn on those language lessons. She'll think I'm trying to impress her.
Well, aren't you?
How did you do on her trick examination?
Practically perfect.
Me, too.
It didn't take you very long to finish. You and whoever turned on those stupid records. Guten Abend.
Bonjour, mon Pierre.
If you spent half as much time improving your mind as you do memorizing those stupid songs, you could recite the Quran forwards and backwards.
Ich bin lustig. Der Milch ist gut. Das Wasser ist kalt. Ich muss ein Apfel haben.
Frère Jacques. Dormez-vous, dormez-vous.
Ich weiß nicht, was soll es bedeuten.
Sonne di mattina, ding dong bell.
No, let's wind up the Victrola and have more jazz. Da 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 da. Let's have that record about I'll love my sweetie forever and a day.
You made it up. That's not a record.
Maybe not, but take it from me, that's well above average. Da 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 da.
We bought those records with our own money, and earned me. Besides, who wants to recite the Quran backwards?
Just look at the report card you brought home this afternoon.
What's wrong with a B average?
Last year, you got straight A's.
Last year, I skipped a grade. It takes a while to catch up.
Just the same, these afternoons spent in the drugstores with the boys, drinking sodas and listening to jazz. I told you it wouldn't help your marks, and this proves I was right.
We hardly spend any time with the boys.
Sure.
We don't have what most people would call a normal social life. Some people have dates on school nights.
It's practically night now, and a school night. And where in the world is your sister?
We told you 10 times.
She went to a movie with a boy.
All afternoon. She missed dinner, and she's missing the examinations. She knows she should be home.
Bill went with her.
She remembered your rule of brother on every date.
But she's making Bill miss the examinations too. Why didn't she just bring that boy to the house instead of going off like that?
Why?
Yes, why?
Because of the way you scared Joe Scales. He's got the rest of the boys afraid to come here. Even that friend of mine.
The one with the motorcycle. The one who keeps buzzing the house with that noise contraption. At all hours.
He's working on his nerve to come in.
What's he afraid of?
You?
Me? Why should any boy be afraid of me?
I think it's Matt.
Run out and tell him your mother's leaving soon for that management conference either. Then he won't have to work on his nerve much longer.
She already told him.
I think he's stopping. Maybe he'll come in. There he goes.
Joe Scales' car is much louder.
I hear Motorcycle Mac.
He's still working on his nerve.
Is Ann back yet?
No. For all I know, she eloped.
She went to a movie.
Mrs. Gilbreth, I'm not getting any help in the kitchen.
With all these examinations, things are upset.
Hop to it.
Martin earned better see for the babies.
I'm not supposed to do the dishes.
What about Dan and Jackie and Lily too?
They're finishing the exams.
Now I know why they're taking so long.
Move it, Franklin.
I thought they were screaming at dinner.
Who?
With the woman examiner.
Miss Brill.
She came late, and she's trying to catch up with everybody else. Jackie said to her only to be helpful. No need to gobble up your grapefruit like a pig. Well, if we finish before you do, we'll wait till you're through.
They made a bad impression.
And Lillian?
She thinks family rules apply to guests.
I'm sorry. I can't pass you dessert till you finish your lima beans.
And it didn't help when Jackie asked if what Miss Brill was saying was of general interest.
As a matter of fact, I don't think they care for Miss Brill. And I don't either. I don't think she's being fair.
Of all the fine teachers at that school, we had to get that one.
She asks all sorts of slanted questions, and I don't think she's marking the papers fairly.
Yes, and she's blocking my most important plan.
Plan? I thought this was just another one of your research projects.
That too.
Does this have something to do with all your recent trips to school?
It's ridiculous for Anne to have to mark time with her class. There's no reason why they shouldn't graduate her at the end of this semester.
It's going awfully fast. She skipped a grade last year.
Yes, but once she graduates, she won't have to worry about schoolwork for a while.
But
With me away, you could use a little extra help.
Anne doesn't know this test has any bearing on when she'll graduate.
I worked out an agreement with the superintendent. He's writing a paper on the effects of home education, and naturally he came to the right source for that.
Naturally.
I told him he could have Miss Brill soup around all she wants, but in return, he's got to do something for me.
He's going to get Anne her diploma?
If her mark's good enough, then by jingo it better be. What is the matter with that girl?
I presume you're talking about your daughter Anne.
There's nothing the matter with any of our children.
You'll find that out when you grade Anne's paper.
And when will that be?
Don't worry, she'll be here.
Where did she even go?
She went to a movie.
These examinations are a little more important. They're for the superintendent.
I know who they're for, and they're important to me too.
The superintendent directed me to give these examinations. That doesn't mean I approve of anyone graduating ahead of a class. And if she doesn't show up, that's perfectly all right with me.
She'll be here any minute. At least she better be.
What have you learned so far? About the others?
The results aren't conclusive.
Not conclusive. What's not conclusive about them? Did you ever grade a better set of papers?
I have to interpret the results.
Interpret? Here's something to interpret.
What's that?
You'll see.
"10 seconds.
Wow.
Doesn't count. Bill and your older sister aren't here. Frank, what's 46 times 46?
2116.
Dan, 19 times 17.
323.
Martha, 52 squared.
2704.
Good girl.
You've coached them.
I taught them. Do you know the capital of Columbia? Do you know the population of Des Moines, Iowa, according to the last census? Of course you do. But so does Dan here. So does Lillian. So does baby Jane upstairs. I'd bring her down, but it's time for her model.
Now you're being ridiculous.
What's 16 times 16?
Well, I...
256.
There, what's 17 times 17?
289.
Good, Jackie boy. Boss, we better keep that boy.
Are there any questions you'd like to ask?
To help you interpret.
I have all I need on these proper examinations.
Very well, dismiss. Get along with things. Step along now.
How does Fitzgerald keep some dinner warm?
Sure.
There's nothing wrong in home studies, but you shouldn't try to do so much with them.
And why not?
Because if everyone went in for an irregular education like that, there wouldn't be any system left. There'd just be chaos.
Perhaps you'd better grade those papers and see how much chaos you find.
You can use the dining room table.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'll look over your shoulder.
I do mind.
Miss Brill.
The old goat.
Dr. Burns says you should lie down for a while after dinner.
He's an old goat too.
A little rest won't hurt you.
Ah! Get him out of here!
Editor!
Why always Dad's bed? Why not Anne's bed, or Mark's bed, or Ernestine's bed? Frank, or Lillian's, or yours or mine? Why always Dad's, Billy?
That just cracks dots.
Come on in, Larry. It's just my house.
I'm starved.
Well, go eat.
Don't worry, and don't think I didn't notice.
Notice what?
You know, that part in the movie, that part all about love. I saw you two holding hands.
That's a lie.
If anything like that happened for maybe 10 seconds, it was just because of the movie and entirely involuntary.
It was?
It was just that kind of movie.
Oh,
see.
Having you tag along was simply unendurable.
And I suppose you think it was endurable to me? I'm starved.
Kid brothers.
In case you don't already know, I have 6 of them. 6 berserk kid brothers.
I already know.
Thank heaven.
Say, I bet you're getting hungry.
Hungry?
I made you miss dinner.
I miss dinner all the time. I hate dinner. In fact, if there's one thing on this earth I don't care to miss, it's dinner.
Oh, I don't seem to be hungry either.
You're not?
Of course, I ate an awful lot of popcorn.
And gumdrops.
Of course, that never interfered with my appetite before. Say, would you like to go to a dance?
I mean, I can probably fit it in, depending on when the dance is.
Tonight, a bunch of the seniors.
It just happens that tonight I'm free.
Swell. I'll change and be back for you in a half an hour. I'm glad your dad isn't old-fashioned about you going out on school nights.
School night? Wait, Larry. There's someone I have to talk to first.
Some other boy?
Well, he's Val.
I didn't think you were the kind that stalls a fellow while she sees if she can get a better date.
I'm not. It's not like that at all. Really, Larry. It's just that I have to get through a short examination first, and like I told you,
Honestly?
honestly, but I'd rather go to a dance with you than with anyone.
That's different.
So what time is the dance?
At it again. The minute my back is turned.
You don't need to sneak up on people. You can cough or something.
Just try coughing with a mouthful of peanut butter. I have to tell Dad we're back.
Bill, Mother said we weren't supposed to worry Dad with unimportant worries.
Who said anything about worrying him?
I hope you doesn't get your father mad.
Don't worry, he won't. He better not!
I heard about your father.
Lots of people hear about Dad and his work.
It wasn't exactly about his work.
You mean the way he eliminates waste motion and things like that? What did you hear?
To tell you the truth, I was almost afraid to come here.
No!
I didn't know whether to ask you for a date or not.
You haven't been listening to that cheerleader, that Joe Scales.
How'd you know?
The things that boy says about my father, he'd say anything.
He would?
You'd think my dad was some kind of monster, when really,
Yes.
he's friendly and agreeable and witty, and he has one of the sweetest tempers, and
So she's back, is she?
and those stories are just absurd.
I'm glad to hear it.
What took her so long?
He must be calling to somebody to the back of the house. Yeah, back of the house. When you call somebody to the back of the house, you can usually hear them from the front of the house, too.
I guess you can.
No reason why you shouldn't come here.
You mean that boy's down there right now?
Shush, Frank.
I won't shush, Lillian.
I guess I better be getting along.
I guess you have.
I guess I better.
Wait, Larry, about the dance? I don't suppose, well, what I mean is, will you be coming back?
By Jingo!
Will you?
I asked you to the dance, didn't I? Well, be seeing you.
Look at her.
I told you if I started dressing like the other girls, everything would be all right, and I'd be popular.
Popular, ha, missing dinner, dodging tests. By Jingo, you've started painting yourself too.
I haven't.
I can see the paint. Perfume? You've started wearing perfume.
Frank, she hasn't even had her dinner yet.
It's her fault. perfume.
It's just one dab, and why not? It's not painting or makeup, and it smells so good.
Why not? Because it stinks up good fresh air. That's why not. They're going to wash it off.
Oh, Dad.
Don't you know what a man thinks when he smells perfume on a woman?
I only know what one man thinks, and he thinks I should wash it off.
Thinks nothing. And you get in there and take that examination.
She's going to eat something first.
Me too.
I don't want to eat. I want to get the examination over with. I have something to do later.
Probably something to do with that boy.
I don't see why I need a brother tagging along every time I go to the movies with someone. It's intolerable, really. I don't see why any boy bothers with me.
Well, I do, even if you don't. And that's why a brother goes along. No offense, Bill.
Supposing I wanted to go to a dance, a really important dance that, for instance, falls on a school night.
Now, we can talk about that when the time comes.
Mother, Dad,
No more nonsense now. All this time, perfume painting your face.
It's awful.
You report to the dining room to Miss Brill.
Bill.
And?
Now, Frank.
All right, then you handle it. Thank heavens my other daughters are a little more sensible. Not quite so...
It's motorcycle Max!
Maybe this time will stop.
Not quite so silly.
No, what's going on?
Ah!
Hi, Ann.
Where were you?
Mother, I did put on one dab of perfume, but I'm not wearing any makeup. None at all. See?
I'll explain to your father later.
It's just color.
Your color's very good tonight.
There's a reason. I want to get the examination out of the way.
Who'd you go with?
That fullback.
Larry! Oh, Mother, I had a wonderful afternoon.
You shouldn't have stayed so long. We worried about you, especially your father.
Why does he care so much? So what if we waste one afternoon?
Your father wants everything ship-shape and efficient before he leaves for Europe. Besides, there's this test.
Did they have to send that, Miss Bro?
I'm sure she's a good enough teacher. I'll tell her you're here.
What's up?
What's going on?
Larry asked me to a dance. He's coming right back for me.
Are you crazy? It's a school night. What are you going to tell Dad?
I don't know, but I better get the examination over with. Is it tough?
Same old IQ stuff. It's a snap.
Especially for Miss IQ of Montclair High.
I wish I was Miss something else.
You're stuck with it.
For once, your IQ is going to put to some good use. I can't wait to see the look on Miss Burrow's face when she grades your paper.
I have a feeling she's dying to bear down on you with that red pencil.
Even I didn't have much trouble with the written part.
And the word association test? There's nothing to it.
She just shoots 5 words at you.
Swell! I better get in there. I'm in an awful rush.
Suppose if I told you the 5 words to the test, you literally poured on her when she asked.
Well, don't.
You know, if every time she popped a word at you, you could pop back a lot of answers. A whole string of associated words.
But it wouldn't be right if we told Anne the words to the test.
No, it wouldn't. And I better get in there.
It wouldn't be right if we told Anne the first word was knife.
Don't!
Or that the second word was black.
Please!
Foot, hair, bird.
You shouldn't have told me!
No, you certainly shouldn't have told Anne that the 5 words are knife, black, foot, hair, bird. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Martha.
Gee, I'm sorry, Anne. Try and put it out of your mind. Try to forget that the 5 words are
No!
knife,
Stop!
foot, hair, bird.
Forget them. After the way you've been drumming them in? Ugh, good night. I'm already thinking of the answers. Why did you have to go and do a thing like that?
Aren't you ever going to get down to business?
Right now.
And didn't your mother tell you two to see to the babies?
We were seeing them.
Till a motorcycle passes the house.
I think motorcycles are wonderful. Make an awful lot of noise with a motorcycle.
on one of the boys at school.
Boss, here are the charts I've worked out. Rotations of duties and assignments, records of results. I want to get all of this functioning before I leave.
Do you really have to go? Dr. Burton says.
Dr. Burton. We ought to concentrate on some way to knock some sense into our older daughters.
They're perfectly normal. At least, they want to be.
They want to be wasting a lot of time, and time is precious.
Do you really have to go to this management conference?
A conference like this gives me the chance to explain motion study to the world. The world could use a little efficiency. Besides, it could be awfully good for business. It costs a lot to run a family like this.
Remember when we talked about the family we have? Our wedding day? You said we'd have a wonderful life and a wonderful family. A great big family.
I warned you, children from the basements to the attics, the floorboards, the chandeliers.
And when we went for a Sunday walk, we'd look like Mr. and Mrs. Pied Piper.
Mr. Piper, meet Mrs. Piper. Mrs. Piper, shake hands with Mr. Piper.
I asked you how many children we'd have, just as an estimate. You said, just as an estimate, many.
And the day we got on the train, you tried to appear so blasé, as if we'd been married for years.
And when I took off my hat, you gave that loud whisper. Good Lord, woman, why didn't you tell me your hair was that color? And everyone turned to leer and wink.
I shouldn't have done that. It was just, I was so proud of you. I wanted everyone to look at you and know that you were my wife. I think the schedules and committees are working out wonderfully. The family's getting so that it runs itself.
You thought of most everything, Mr. Piper.
Why, thank you, Mrs. Piper.
I don't think Anna's taking it that seriously. She's just marking answers down on the paper as fast as she can go.
She said something about being in a hurry.
Perhaps she has something more important to do.
What is it?
You're not supposed to do the table until you're finished with the exam.
I am finished.
That's impossible.
It's finished.
You answered every question, as best as you could.
Honestly, Dad, it was a snap.
A snap? We'll see how much of a snap it is. We'll see how much of a snap it is. My goodness,
Is there something the matter?
there doesn't seem to be anything the matter.
You haven't found any wrong answers?
Not yet.
Keep marking.
I will. Good heavens.
Yet?
No, not yet.
Just keep on marking.
I can't properly mark an examination under conditions like these.
Yet?
No, not yet!
Good girl. By Jingo, we'll tell the whole family about this. She's a chip off the old block. I have an announcement to make about your oldest sister.
But Dad, she hasn't even finished grading my paper yet.
So far as we know, your older sister Anne has just completed a perfect examination.
Mr. Gilbert.
So far as we know, yet. And it looks very much to me as though she will be graduating at the end of this semester.
What is this about graduation?
Mr. Gilbert, you were instructed not to mention that.
You have her paper.
We haven't had the word association test.
Well, then give it to her.
Here, now.
Yes, here and now.
Well, all right, but this is very irregular.
Are you ready?
Yes, she's ready.
I guess so.
You know how it's done. Try to answer with the word you associate. First word, none.
Stab, wound, bleed, slit, murder, disembowel, scream, shriek.
Good heavens! You must have an IQ higher than Nicholas Murray Butler.
I read a lot.
Next, black.
Velvet night, pitch dark, ebony.
My goodness. Next, foot.
Kick, shoe, walk, run, stocking, dance.
Next, hair.
Ribbon, hat, pigtail, shampoo, louse.
Next,
Egg, song, nest, worm, perch.
but I didn't say the word I just said next.
That's true.
And you said egg, song, nest, so that's it. You knew the next word was bird.
How could she know?
And you knew do exam too, didn't you?
No, it was just those words. It was all a joke. Sort of. Oh, and
How could you?
I see through the whole thing. You're all nasty little cheats.
Miss Brill!
I told her the word.
and me.
Yes, you all cheated.
No, I'm the only one.
You're the only one that got caught. I'll certainly report this to the superintendent. Now I see how you've all been getting ahead so fast in school.
But I didn't know the test meant anything.
And that ends that graduation talk.
Oh gosh, Dad, I couldn't help it.
What do you mean you couldn't help it?
How could everything go so wrong? I had a wonderful afternoon with the movie with Larry. He even asked me to a dance. And then this had to happen.
This sort of thing didn't happen until you got boys on your mind.
She's growing up. Other things are important too.
Movies, perfume, painting, and now cheating on an examination? I can't have the entire program ruined by some boyfriend. This is the end of that nonsense.
You don't realize, Dad, when you're the youngest in your class and you feel like you need to stay in the top brackets, sometimes you miss out on things like social ability, leadership, going to a dance with a boy you like.
Hi, Aaron. Is Ann ready?
Hi, Larry. Guess I can't make it.
Oh, the other day came through.
No!
It's perfectly okay. After all, it's up to you. Well,
Larry. I don't see why there's only time for studying, organizing, and getting more efficient!
And I don't understand. Never mind.
I guess we just don't understand each other. I'll give a hand in the kitchen. And
It was the only thing to do. Really.
Sure, you're absolutely right. We'd better finish the dishes.
Let's get back to the baby.
Dad, she'll be all right.
I was painting the fence. It's still not too dark. I'll go swimming.
I couldn't just let her run off to a dance. It's a question of the whole program. That's much more important. And time is precious.
Of course it is, Dad. I'd rather eat that stupid dog.
That's just the thing. Time is so incredibly precious.
Well, they're all gone. With them out of the living room, it's so quiet, peaceful.
That it is. I hate it